in the last week or two that put me to prayer, and I ask you to join me. So, welcome again. Turn off your cell phones, please, and take a moment to greet your neighbors. All right, thank you. The morning chant, are you leading it?
Here we go.
On the wall.
I am remembering who I am. 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 I am remembering. I'm remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am.
Following that remembrance deep into our hearts, carrying with it the remembrance of our loved ones who have passed and our loved ones who are at the door. Calling to our ancestors from the deep past to be with us this morning. And so I ask each person, if you would, to call by name the ancestors that you would have with us this morning, just now. Helen, Grammy, Dad, Nina, all the women. And as they come to be with us, this space changes into a place between the worlds, a place of deep spiritual work, a place of deep protection, a place of deep realization, a place of deep honoring, a place of miracles and healing, allowing everything from our normal waking life, including the drive here, to remain outside of this space that is encompassed by our ancestors, allowing our heart to open, allowing our conscious mind to be subdued, and to feel into the eternity in which we already exist, knowing that anything is possible and that we are divinely guided in every single moment. We are happy, whole, and well, here and now, and for all time. I give my thanks and claim this truth. Blessed be. Good morning and welcome. Welcome to our wonderful celebration of an ancient holiday. We have wonderful musicians to welcome this morning and a new face, Ed Bogus, who is on the keyboard. He's been a musician for many lifetimes. And we welcome him here today. And of course, Andoni Panici is a singer, actor, and band leader in the Bay Area. He's family with us. I'm so glad you're here, Andoni. And after the service, you can find out where his band is playing for the rest of the season and purchase his new CD right around the corner in our normal area for the musicians. Please welcome Andoni and Ed.
What does it mean to inherit the kingdom, to dwell here and now in the radiance of love, sowing seeds of compassion within, without, below, above, breaking down walls with the strength of pure love. Enter in, face to face, heart to heart, hand to hand. Enter in, enter in. The kingdom is at your command. How can we follow the steps of the masters in healing the sick, mending hearts, feeding souls? Greater works than these shall ye do, over, under, round, and through, knowing the kingdom is right within you. Enter in, enter in, face to face, heart to heart, hand to hand. Enter in, enter in. The kingdom is at your command. The view from the mountain feels safe and secure as we meditate on our worth. Yet far greater still are the riches we feel, bringing pieces of heaven to earth. Enter in, enter in, face to face, heart to heart, hand to hand. Enter in, enter in. The kingdom is at your command. to heart, hand to hand. Enter in, enter in. The kingdom is at your command. Claim it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That song was written actually by Ed's wife, Desiree.
Oh. Beautiful. Well, we have some little gremlins up there on the stage to say goodbye to. And look at that new teacher there. Mr. Scott Calixtine Grace is going to be with the kids today. Look, and I don't think he's wearing his mask yet. So have a wonderful time and just teach your teachers the truth, darlings, and we will see you after the service. You all look fabulous. Don't you wish we could play like that all the time? So this is the place in our service where we talk about gratitude. And you're still looking at the costumes. David, stand up. Very, very impressive. Very impressive. David's one of our new members. We're going to have a great ride with him as a new member. So my gratitude today is for all of the pledgers that pledged for next year. You know, we listened to you and we did a short pledge program. Instead of 5 or 6 weeks, we did 3 weeks. And if you missed it, it's over. But you still, let me just say that last week, 2 Sundays ago, we had $70,000 in pledges. And after last Sunday and the pledges coming in this week, we have $215,000. So that's applause for you. And so if you missed it because it was so short, those of you that normally pledge, we would love to have your pledge because we plan based on that number. And so an abbreviated pledge table is right in the below the middle of the stage. There will be people that have shared throughout the Abundance campaign that are there to talk to you. There's pledge cards. If you would just estimate how much you think you're going to give in 2012 if you haven't already done so. And let me say how many people are doing it. They are pledging a minimum. They are pledging the minimum that they are sure that they can give. And you would be surprised on how many pledge cards it says, I know I'm going to give more. But we add up the figure that you give. So if that makes you more comfortable to do that, please do. This year, for the very first time, we asked a question on the pledge card about legacy planning. And to let you know that there are 8 people already in our community who have included GGCSL in their legacy plan, and more who said they were interested. And so we will be following up with information about how you can live continuously on into decades from now. In this community after you pass from your body. So it's very wonderful. I would like to invite Reverend Sarah to come up and talk about a wonderful thing that's happening today, right after the service, right here.
Thank you. Well, I want to invite you to come join me for the Invent a Session Idea Marketplace, which is going to happen immediately after the service, 11:30 to 1 today. It's for conversations and connections, and you'll connect with other people of mutual interests. in small group conversations, choosing the topic that you want. Nothing is preset, something that appeals to you, so you choose the topic, and maybe even something about the Beckwith event if you wanted to talk about that, or visioning, or whatever. Last time we had singles groups and all kinds of wonderful things. So it'll be informal conversations, so you will get to talk amongst yourselves for about 35 minutes and then come back together to hear a report back of what happened in all the other sessions, because you won't want to miss out on what all fun is happening in the other groups. And then you'd leave at 1 o'clock with new ideas and new connections and new friends, and perhaps even some ongoing groups to participate in. And the price is right, it's free. And I will accept your love donations, however, and I wanted to let you know that the program is run by the law of 2 feet, which means if you get here, it's not what you want, or you're in a group you don't want to be in, you go to another group or you leave. It's up to you. So once you come in, you're not stuck. And you're encouraged to bumblebee between groups, to cross-pollinate between the groups, so you get to hear what other people are going on. And if you decide to leave early, that's no problem. It's no offense taken. And my passion is to help people succeed and express their magnificence, so this is one of the ways I do it, and I hope you'll join me. Thank you.
And just to add my 2 cents, Reverend Sarah is magnificent with this. Surprises always happen, and there are connections made that are really nurturing. So I encourage you to come. Also today, we have the Quick Start class. If you are new to this community and want a short class about the basics of our philosophy, that will be at the Learning Center this afternoon with Gail Durkin. Wave your little hand. Gail Durkin, that's your teacher. And later on today, if you would like a big, wonderful hit by the founder of our community, Reverend Dr. Lloyd Tupper, that is Sunday afternoons in the city, and that information go over there and ask if you don't know where it is, and we'll get you there. There are new things to sign up for today. Three things. 2 of them are new. The wonderful Austins, Elizabeth and Jim, stand up if you would. These are your Thanksgiving hosts and hostesses, and so they are offering to open their home on Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving dinner. It's a gourmet potluck. They will provide the turkey, the stuffing, the potatoes, and the gravy, and you bring whatever makes Thanksgiving for you. And that sign-up sheet is on the events table over there, which is in its normal place. And then, of course, the Holiday Family Project is happening this year on December 10th. Now, this comes in 2 parts. This comes as a big party for the people from Homeward Bound, with a turkey dinner for 150 people, and face painting for the children, and carols, and Santa, and the Snow Queen. And I mean, it is an extravaganza, and everyone participates. And then there is also the Giving Tree, which happens here, where presents are bought for the children of Homeward Bound. And so that is, you can sign up for any of that, decide which, because we need pretty much everybody to participate. And it's everybody's favorite thing, because you get to give Christmas to people who wouldn't have it otherwise. And then the last thing or one of the other things to sign up for today is my Prosperity Plus class that I'm starting on, I believe it's November 8th on Tuesdays. It's fabulous. It changes lives. It will just pick you up and put you in a different place in your life, and it's better than where you are now. So, and that is, you're more than welcome to come to the first night and see if it's for you. But we would like you to sign up. And let's see, A Visioning for Your Life comes in on Wednesday with Janet Karyl Ryan. And although it does say that we have a healthy snack today, no. We have cookies. And cake, and the lemon poppy seed cake that Abigail makes every single Saturday night for eternity. Yeah. Okay. That's them. That's what's happening otherwise. And so now, there are people that I don't know, faces that came through the door today that I haven't ever seen before. And so that's thrilling to me. I hope that Al Eney's back. Welcome home, honey. Your face is familiar. But for those of you that I haven't met, I would love to meet you, and I hope you feel right at home. This is a different kind of service today. They're all different, actually. It's going to be really, really wonderful. And you're wonderful for being here. I would really love to meet you. So now we get to remember the ancestors that are surrounding us. And I call your attention to this wonderful altar that was made by Galia. It is an altar of remembrance. We have pictures of our ancestors here. We have sprigs of rosemary for remembrance, Kuan Yin for compassion, and it is it's an altar. It signifies really what an altar is. You know, in ancient history, the holy places were groves with a spring. And people came to worship in groves where a spring was, because the spring was the life-giving water. And then there were temples that were built over the spring on the same holy ground. And then as history progressed and the names of the religions changed and the practices of the religions changed, there were little wooden churches that were built where the temples were, right over the wells. And then there were stone churches that were built over the well. And then there were cathedrals built in the same holy place that started with a well that never ran dry. And what is amazing is that in many, many, many of these places in Europe, the altar is right over the ancient well, signifying that an altar is a place between the worlds that brings heaven to earth, where the veil between the formless and the formed can be felt. And so it's so appropriate that we have photographs of our ancestors, these images of the bodies that we loved, remembering that the ancestors in their formless state are still right here. So my talk today is entitled Ancient Wisdom at Halloween. So when we think of ancient wisdom and how ancient wisdom evolved into modern religions, it's wonderful to know that just as the churches have their roots in the groves, the religions of today have their roots in ancient times when there were pantheons of gods and goddesses that were responsible for the weather, for crops, for livestock, for childbirth, and for survival. Because for our ancestors, and for us too, sustained by food and shelter and making more people, that's what ensures the survival of folks. And so all religions, past, present, and whatever happens in the future, all religions have brought people to an experience of their relationship with the infinite presence. Every single one. That's why in Science of Mind we are so user-friendly, because we know that we are not the only path. That every single religion and wisdom tradition has brought people to an experience of their oneness with the infinite presence. And so when we look back into ancient wisdom is not more or less wise than current religion. And ancient practices are not more or less effective than current practices. There were success stories of people who were brought into the infinite presence from every wisdom tradition, and there were some pretty horrific stories from every single religion in all times, in all places. And so by the way, if you like what I say today, which is kind of different than because we're talking about ancient wisdom, I have a personal website called Ancient Wisdom Online that does all this stuff. And the information is over there on the events table, and I'd love for you to check it out. The difference between religion today and in the past, if there is a difference, is that ancient wisdom was more firmly connected to the seasons. Because, you know, in the ancient times, there were no books. There were no libraries. There were stories that were passed down from family to family and group to group. But the lessons came from harmonizing with the seasons. Learning to plant in the spring, work the fields in the summer, harvest the fields in the fall, and rest in the winter. And the calendar of most religions still follows that pattern because guess what? We're still on planet Earth. Our food still comes from the earth. And so that's why Easter has to do with rebirth. There has always been, in every religion, a ceremony about rebirth in the spring. And at the winter solstice, in every religion, there is a ceremony about the birth of the light. We call it the birth of the sun, S-U-N and S-O-N, being a Christian derivative as we are. And so the vestiges of the calendar are still in each and every wisdom tradition. So the holiday that comes tomorrow, that is, if you look at, I think it's like $74 that everybody as an average is spending on Halloween this year. It's like, I spent $5 for candy from the dollar store. That I don't enjoy. The ancient holiday that Halloween has come down to evolve from in the Celtic lands was called Samhain. And it is the ceasing of the growing season completely. The fields lie fallow. And because the fields look dead, it was the time to honor the dead. It was the most holy night of the entire year when our ancestors believed that the veil between the worlds was the thinnest. And so on tomorrow night, it is appropriate for you to wish your beloveds Happy New Year, because that was the new year in the ancient world, one of the calendars. So this was also what is called the third harvest, because this was the time that the animals were blessed and killed that would be food for the winter. And so they decided which they would not keep and feed through the winter, which would be food for the people. And so that happened at this time of the year. And as I said, the fields are quiet and in slumber already for the winter. And the burrowing animals begin their death-like sleep called hibernation. And so there is a feeling of death. We have such a charge on that word, but it's so natural. It happens to every single living thing. And the symbols that have come down through the ages that mean Halloween to us are all about this. They are relationships between us and the ancestors. So our pumpkins, our jack-o'-lanterns, this particular kind of pumpkin was very, very prolific in the New World. And so as the tradition came to the New World, they carved pumpkins. In the old land, they carved turnips. And they scooped out turnips, and they put a little candle in their little turnips, and they made little pathways to home with their little candles and their little turnips. So their spirits of the ancestors would be able to find where home was. And so, of course, they knew where home was, but it helped the living say, oh, here they come. And so, and the costumes for Halloween were, if you didn't particularly want to see your ancestors, you would confound them with a mask so they couldn't recognize you. But that probably didn't work either. And then the treats, as in trick or treat, were the favorite food of the ancestors that was left out for them on this night where they roamed the land. So the holiday celebrated this transition known as death in the most natural and present way. In this culture, a lot of times death is kept away from us. Less so now because of the wonderful, wonderful service of hospice and people being able to come home. But I'm going to read to you from this wonderful book, Anam Cara. This now is what I would save if my house burned down, because I was reading this when my mother was making her transition, and her last words I wrote down in the back of this book. So it's very precious to me. John O'Donoghue is a wonderful mystic of the Irish tradition. And what he says is, for the Celts, the eternal world was so close to the natural world that death was not seen as a terribly destructive or threatening event. And actually there are movies that we can all name, like Raising Ed Devine or Ned Devine, that about the spirits who frequented the same pubs. You know, they just were out of their body, and so their friends got to drink their drinks because they couldn't drink them anymore. But that feeling of being close to those people who have passed on, and although we don't live in a completely Celtic world right now, and we don't go from our little cottage down to the local pub, that feeling is still present. And I want you to know that I have done many, many memorials where I talk to people about their loved ones and say, if you can open the door of your grief so that you can be available to a visit, often it happens. And I remember I told Susan Zitron, who many of us remember, who was a precious practitioner in this community, whose family just visited not long ago, I told her sisters, who did not have this notion that they could be comforted in this way. And before the memorial service, each one of them came to me privately and said, she visited me. And one of them was in the shower, you know, and Susan appeared to her in the shower saying how everything was so, so well with her. And so it's so many people have received these messages that are so unlikely. I mean, if you're going to imagine something, you're not going to imagine that your sister shows up in the shower. So just being open to that is so important. In so many meditations, I have assisted people and experienced myself the wisdom of the ancestors coming through. And so it seems to me that they are absolutely available to us, absolutely. And so if you would, I'd like to do a little experiment right now and have you close your eyes. And just try it. Whatever ancestor pops into your mind right now, use that one. Or if you have a question in mind that you would like to just broadcast to your whole lineage, you can do that. But believing that as we ask for divine guidance, it very well may come from our ancestors. Speak to them in silence for a moment. And coming back now. And knowing that you can do this anytime. And so if some of you are thinking, is this weird or is this grounded in principle? I'd like to read you something from Ernest Holmes in the textbook. The one seeking to demonstrate the power of spiritual realization in everyday affairs should believe in divine guidance. He should affirm that his mind is continually impressed with the images of right action and that everything in his life is controlled by love, harmony, and peace, that everything he does prospers, and that the eternal energy back of all things animates everything which it undertakes. And so this eternal energy that is available to us reaches us in various ways. We have many doors into the infinite that can be opened. And everybody has different ones. You can have nature be a doorway to divine guidance. You can have writing with your non-dominant hand be a doorway to divine guidance. You can have your ancestors be a doorway to divine guidance. And every single class we teach has practices about opening to divine guidance, because I told you I was going to talk about principle, spiritual principle, as it related to Halloween. And one of the things that Halloween reminds us of is that spiritual principle of divine guidance. And the principle is divine guidance is available to us. You just have to find the doorway that works for you. It might be your ancestors. The second principle that I want to talk about that Halloween reminds us of, that is spiritual principle based in everything we believe, is, and it is found in every ancient wisdom tradition, is the principle of immortality. That we are not our bodies. We are greater and more, we are spirits inhabiting a body. And for us to believe in eternal life, when we are on this earthly realm, when we see plants die, we see animals die, we see people die, we don't have the experience that we see continuous life in the same form go on forever and ever. There is a completion to a stage, and then there is a rebirth. Always. Spring follows winter. And so in this celebration, which is early winter, and the holiday of Samhain, where we honor the dead and the process of dying, it precedes the spring celebration when the shoots come up from Mother Earth, the grasses come up from Mother Earth, the blossoms come on the tree, the baby lambs come, and the new people come, and our experience of that must be that we are eternal and don't end. Just like now, the squash has the seeds in it. If we planted the seeds, we would get new squash. So our essence, although our body dies, the essence of that life force that is passed to the seed, that is who we are. And, Meister Eckhart talked about God seeds. We are God seeds. And we are immortal. When my mom was dying, I asked her, I said, do you think that a soul can be in more places than one? Because I was concerned, she believed in reincarnation, and if she went off and, got born in a new baby somewhere, where was she going to be for me when I needed her? And she said, oh, yes. Our essence, our soul, can be in more places than one. So this is what John O'Donohue has to say about eternal life. It is a strange and magical fact to be here, walking around in a body, to have a whole world within you and a world at your fingertips outside you. It is an immense privilege, and it is incredible that humans manage to forget the miracle of being here. The more lonely side of being here is our separation in the world. When you live in a body, you feel separate from every other object and person. Many of our attempts to pray, to love, to create are secret attempts at transfiguring that separation in order to build bridges outward so that others can reach us and we can reach them. At death, this physical separation is broken. The soul is released from its particular and exclusive location in this body. The soul then becomes free and fluent in a universe of spiritual belonging. And so, Ernest Holmes says in his chapter on immortality, immortality, or the continuation of a personal existence beyond this life, has been so completely demonstrated to me that it would be unthinkable for me to assume an opposite position. And so when we look at ancient wisdom and modern metaphysics, we know that we are immortal right now. We live forever. And yet, you know, there are a finite number of breaths that this body breathes. And so this holiday is a time for us to contemplate the transition of ourselves and those that we love, and to make sure that we stay current with our love, our forgiveness, our amends. Don't leave anything till tomorrow that you could connect with someone today. That is the gift of this transition. And so we have a little old chant. It's very simple. We're going to sing it. Let's sing it twice through, and then be silent for a moment, and then we'll go into the inner work. Hoof and let's start again. Hoof and horn. Hoof and horn. Okay, we didn't practice this enough.
Sing well, fun.
Okay. Well, give me the first one. Hoof and horn, hoof and horn. All that dies shall be reborn. Corn and grain, corn and grain. All that falls shall rise again. Hoof and horn, hoof and horn. All that dies shall be reborn. Corn and grain, corn and grain. All that falls shall rise again. Hoof and horn, hoof and horn. All that dies shall be reborn. Corn and grain, corn and grain. All that falls shall rise again. And feeling the ancestors around us now that helped us get on that right note. Being grateful for the ancestors that have been with us. Grateful for our connection to those beloveds that have gone before. Absolute love flowing to us from them and from us to them. Absolute faith that divine guidance is available from those that have gone before. And in this moment of infinite privilege, as we enjoy our life on this earth plane. Everything that concerned us this week is less important than the gratitude that we hold for our bodies that carry our spirits through the world. Every concern is less important than the earthly wonder and beauty that we live within. And of all the choices that we have made and have yet to make about earthly matters, the one that matters most is our choice to come here. And in this moment, we are even grateful for the boundary of death to keep our hearts impressed with that which is most important. And also, beyond words is the gratitude for the mystery of everlasting life. Our soul remembers these blessings in this moment. Blessed be.
My soul remembers your voice when all I hear is frustration and doubt. My soul remembers your grace when the hurt is searing as a desert. Still I never go without. My soul remembers. My soul remembers your touch when my body yearns to be cradled like a child. My soul remembers your strength when a heavy burden's weighing on me. I am sheltered all the while, sheltered all the while, whether at war or at peace, awake or asleep, whether I'm walking the street or diving the ocean deep, whether it's a winter or spring, whether I cry or sing. Oh, my soul remembers. My soul remembers your power when I fear I cannot do what must be done. My soul remembers your mercy, blessing the deepest doubt I harbor with the heat of the sun, with the kiss of the sun, whether at war or at peace, awake or asleep, whether I'm walking the street or diving the ocean deep, whether it's a winter or spring, whether I cry or sing. Oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. soul remembers your love when the world is bearing unbearable pain. My soul remembers your love shimmering over us, a rainbow rising after the rain. Whether at war or at peace, awake or asleep, whether I'm walking the street or diving the ocean deep, if I'm alone or in a crowd, feeling humble or proud, silently sulking about or laughing out loud, whether I'm right or I'm wrong, standing timid or strong, wherever on earth I belong. And when my last breath is gone, whatever I do, whatever I see, safe in your arms I'll be. Oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. Oh, my soul remembers. Remembers. Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Thanks very much. Thank you.
That was beautiful, beautiful. Ed, have you had fun?
Yes, I have.
Okay. We've had fun with you. Hope you come back again.
Yep.
So now it's time. I'm a little lost on this PowerPoint. Oh, that's the song for our offering. So I get so caught up in that. Was so beautiful and so perfect. And now what's perfect is for us to exercise that giving muscle and know that we can never outgive God. So if you would please take your offering in your hands, and something that you love about this community or something that you heard today that is useful for you, just think about that and then infuse the contribution that you give with gratitude. And you know, gratitude is that thing that makes more of itself. So what you're grateful for increases. And I am grateful for each of you. So at this time, would the ushers please receive the gifts? And we've got this cute little chant for the holiday. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. The earth, the air, the fire, the water, return, 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 return. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Aye, 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 oh, aye, oh, aye, oh, aye, oh. Wow, and thank you to the drummers. Thank you. It was beautiful. And thank you to Ed and Andoni that didn't know some of these an hour ago. The wonderful thing about drums is that in every ancient wisdom tradition, drums are a part of sacred practice. And what happens when you drum is that all of our heartbeats synchronize. So we are synchronized. And in this moment, we give thanks for the generous hearts, the sweet, sweet, sweet souls that give so generously and make up the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. Blessed be. So as Reverend Sarah prepares to pray us out, and as I ask the practitioners forward, I would like to announce once again that Jerry Haas's daughter, Stacy, passed this week, and Reggie Henkart passed this week, and Gloria Kaga is probably beginning her journey, and so we hold these people and their families in deep, deep, deep love.
The practitioners are surrounding the room, and these practitioners that are in front are available. They're professional practitioners that normally charge and volunteer their time on Sundays to be with us to pray. So just join me right now, knowing that Spirit is truly all there is, everywhere present, in every moment, in every circumstance. And to know that we are all timeless, infinite beings who at times when we come to this planet think we are separate. But then we remember the truth. That there's no place to go. We are always in one with Spirit. And we know that each of us comes to this planet, to this experience in our own time, in our own way, in our own circumstances. And in the same way, each of us leave in our own time, in our own circumstances, in our own way. But we're all headed on that same journey home, which is here right now. And as Ernest Holmes says, when we are born, we are greeted by those who love and support us and protect us and care for us until we are able to support and care for ourselves. And when we make our transition to the next plane of life, there are people and friends and family waiting to guide us and greet us and support us until we are accustomed to our new surroundings. So we give thanks for that understanding that we are always immersed in a healing pool of God's love and support and comfort. So we bless those souls who are making their way to this new journey, and bless those of us who are here on our own journeys, remembering the truth that Spirit is all there is. And so it is. Amen.
So please have some coffee and some snacks to remind you all that you are still in your body. And then join us after the service for Reverend Sarah's Idea Marketplace. 11:30. And if you would stand right now for our affirmation. Why is this not doing the affirmation? Okay. Oh, no. There we go. Okay. The memory and power of my ancestors fill me now. I devote my life to the highest principles of those who have gone before me. I know that I am immortal now and always, in this life and all that is to come. Blessed be. In every breath, peace abides. I know the joy of peace. I choose fear to release. Every moment, love wakes up, and peace is every step. And peace is every step. And peace